Hey guys, it's Crunch from League Bootcamp here. So today we're starting off a brand new series called Calling the Shots. It was highly requested by the community itself that I do some introduction to shot calling videos, I guess. And the information is really hard to find on shot calling because it it generally comes with a lot of game experience and it's more of a natural thing. But I believe that there are ways that you can start building on it from scratch. Like you might not be the best one for like a diamond team or to get into the challenger scene or anything with it, but I believe there are fundamental values which everyone can bring on in order to better themselves either in team play or solo queue. I think it's applicable in both. Anyway, moving into it. So, what is this series? I was pretty much just doing that before, but I'm pretty much breaking it up into various different parts, which are going to be bite-sized chunks and trying to give you building blocks for something to work on yourself. There's going to be a few more that I've added on, but this is my game plan so far. So, introductory, this is a video. It's really just going to brush over like the total basics of it, and not actually going very like there won't be much depth to this video. It's just an introductory one. The informative premises is going to be talking about what sort of information you need to be looking at and what information you need to process to be able to get the game knowledge to do good shot calling. Moving on to the global shot calling, that will be objective based, so pretty much the general strategy of how the game goes and how to be able to like manipulate your team or be able to make those decisions which can help you rotate around the map properly. Initiation shot calling is kind of more clutch, fast decision making, and this one is really hard in solo queue, but it will be more prevalent in team based. Snowballing your lead, this is actually how to, once you have your lead, hold on to it for the rest of the game. So this is when you get those like few thousand gold leads and how to just gradually extend that and know where your strengths lie. The deficit reduction is kind of the opposite. So it's when you're that few thousand gold down, or even 10,000 gold down, how you can play to the strengths of your comp in order to maybe reduce that deficit and hopefully get to pull out one of those miracle wins that you always see in solo queue, or even team play at high levels. And finally, ending the game. So different ways that you can actually end the game, which is one of the hardest things to actually do. You can be like 10,000 gold ahead, but sometimes people just don't know how to end a game. Anyway, so that's like a big look at what the series will eventually turn into. I'll be releasing a few of these videos a week, hopefully. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyway, kicking into the introduction. So, what is shot calling? It's defined as the ability of a player to process and communicate information to create actions in order to manipulate the strategy and pace of the game. So that essentially means just being able to look at the situation and the information surrounding what is happening in the game, and being able to actually direct your team into doing like the best decision possible, or hopefully not necessarily the best decision possible, but a decision. And it's pretty much a shot caller is necessary in that sense, because having 5 people on one page, even if it isn't the best decision, like I was saying, is probably, that is definitely better than having 5 people try split push around the map and stuff. Anyway, I'll kick into that a bit later. So, shot calling is also a leadership role, essentially, because you are taking the initiative to try and guide your team. Anyway, so that's just a really brief introduction as to what it actually is for those that don't know. What does it require? So to be a really good shot caller, you kind of need to have extensive game knowledge. Now this can come either naturally, or like, if you spam enough games, you do effectively get a decent amount of game knowledge on like a subconscious level. But yeah, the better your game knowledge, the easier you will be able to process this information and make better decisions. On top of that, fast thinking. So after kills go down, in the middle of a team fight and that sort of thing, you need to be able to think as fast as you possibly can while those death timers are running as to what will be the most beneficial call for you to make here. Adaptability. So initially, if you do have one of these long-term shot calls, like where you're thinking of a strategy such as split push or bait baron, whatever, if for some reason it goes wrong, you need to be able to adapt and then think, okay, so how can, the game's going to crap, how can we change it up? And finally, communication. So some people have these ideas in their head, but they just don't actually know how to communicate them to their team properly. Some people know what to do, they just expect other people to think like they do. So communication is actually like a huge part of it. I know when I started out, I was thinking, why does my team not, why does my team not just do what I do and stuff? And it's just because I wasn't communicating across some of my ideas. And some of my ideas were crap, but that's just what happens. Anyway, carrying on. Why is it needed? Okay, the difference between League of Legends and some other games is 5 players on a team. So as opposed to like StarCraft or Hearthstone or anything like that, this game you need to actually have 1 or 2 players in a team step up and try and guide the rest of the players. Like you need to have this communication come through and some form of strategy which is mutual between the players for it to work. So, yep, 5 players, just getting them to work as a team. Also, when you realize through the game knowledge, shot calling helps you play to the strength of your team. It really, really helps you just stop throwing a game. For example, if you have like a really, really bad team fight and stuff, it will stop you grouping up against their AoE comp and just getting like stomped. It'll help you be able to, for example, split push and like play to the actual strengths of your team and avoid, in total, avoid throwing the game, because you won't be playing to the like weaknesses of your comp or the strengths of the other teams. And finally, communication. So this links back to the 5 players in teamwork. Okay, so in solo queue, this is just a really, really rough summary of like how it's done, and a couple of things that you can take away from this video pretty much straight away. So, solo queue is generally done in very, very short sentences. You don't want to waste your time being like, hey guys, we should go to Baron, and then after Baron, rotate to bottom, and like blah 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 blah. It takes up way too much of your time, and people just like, oh, this guy sounds like a retard. So, like you may be right, but it's just how people are. A general rule which I've kind of come up with, and it's a good one to stick by because it doesn't take you very long, 2 words and 1 to 2 pings just to be able to shot call in solo queue. So this doesn't take long to type out. If drag's like, it's 12 minutes in, all you need to do, drag 12 minutes 30, or just even drag soon, ping on my way to the dragon pit twice, or ping around the dragon pit twice. If you're going for a gank, or if someone's blown their flash in lane and is overextended, same thing. Bait Baron, assistance pings, 1-2, split push, etc. Like there's just 2 words and a couple of pings will be able to get the general idea across to your team. And the way that happens is obviously you've got chat, so that'll come up on one side of people's screen. If they're not looking at that side, you've got the mini map on the other side where pings are flashing, and you've also got the audio cue of the ping and the chat rolling up. So in that sense, if people are ignoring that, you're in a bit of a bad place. But I'd definitely say 1 to 2 pings, the 2 words, and follow up with another ping a few seconds later, like just to make sure that people are going to rotate to the right spot and not to the Wraith camp, for example. Okay, team play. Team play is predominantly voice comms, obviously because it's miles faster. You can get the words out. You don't have to take your hands off the keyboard. You don't have to take your hands off your mouse to hit enter and all that sort of stuff. So voice comms certainly more important here. This is obviously a very, very brief introduction, so I'm not trying to say that this is going to help you at a higher level. This is just introducing you guys. Anyway, more yeah, it's more accurate. So obviously, it's very hard to type out these full sentences, which I was saying before, like the whole "oh, we're going to go to Baron and then push top tower down," blah blah blah. But you can say that very easily using your voice comms, which also comes with more information. Um, yeah, being able to call rotations and stuff a whole lot better. Oh, also, a lot of people always ask, and I see it in a bunch of chats and comments all around the place. Why do pro players and why do people in fives ping? Like, why are there so many pings going off and stuff? And the main reasons for that: ward placements, pathing, so knowing which way to run so that you're all staying together and stuff, and notifying positioning of where the enemies are or where you want to hide in a bush and stuff. Anyway, that's more about communication rather than shot calling, but it's it's just giving you guys a basic idea. So, although this video was just a very, very brief look at it, I was just kind of introducing you to the series as a whole. So, I'm going to lead you into part 2, which is informative premises, and this is basically underlying information analysis. Sounds very, really complicated, but it's like I'm going to break it down into really, really easy steps, and like this will be in-depth material from now on. So, it's the categories to consider. So that's stuff like what your team has in regards to AoE, wave clear, CC, range, burst potential, all of that sort of stuff. And then how to process that information for your team against the other team. Preparation, so this is your long-term strategy and shot calling, and a bunch of different scenarios that we're going to run through. Anyway guys, this is the first video of the series. I hope you're getting excited for the rest of it. It's a very, very hard subject to teach. A lot of it will come naturally, and these are going to be building blocks for you guys, and yeah, hope you stay tuned. Thanks guys.